Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Amrut Anilrao Purohit, and today we'll be talking about the scope of electronics and communication engineering. Now when we talk about electronics and communication engineering, we are the ones who really put in all the effort to make life easy enough for each one of us. At the whole, we would also be making life convenient for the entire society. How do we do this? We do it with the help of automation. Now, what is automation and how does it change our life? The moment you look at anything around you, you will find that there are a lot of electronic components or gadgets which are being put across. If you just turn around, you would find a mobile phone, you would find lights, ACs, fans, so on and so forth. Now, in most cases, you would say fans, ACs are electrical devices. How do electronics engineers come into picture here? For a small example, when we turn on our ACs or the fans and we go to bed at say 9 p.m., over the period of time, the temperature naturally drops. We feel cold and then we try to put on a thicker blanket and sleep. But what happens with this? The amount of power that is being consumed remains the same through the night. But whereas, in case if we are able to come up with sensors which can test the temperature of the room and gradually decrease the amount of power that is being consumed by the AC and decrease its capacity, then we will find that we are saving a lot of power. Saving a lot of power is saving a lot of natural resources of the country. And that is how we will be able to contribute in saving a lot of resources for the country as such. So as electronics engineers, what is that we can further take up? When we talk about the sensors, we talk about the chips that are being manufactured. Because most of the sensors are semiconductor based. Electronic devices are semiconductor based. And till date, China has been one of the major chip manufacturing countries in the world. But in the last couple of years, we have seen the amount of push the government has been putting across for semiconductor manufacturing in India. We were one of those countries which were procuring the semiconductors, assembling the components in our country, and then finally exporting it to the rest of the world. Now, with the present government, which is trying to push towards the semiconductor manufacturing along with the assembly lines, we have got Apple, which has come into assembling their phones in India. Samsung is into assembling components in India. And now we are also venturing into chip manufacturing. Instead of procuring every single chip from China, Taiwan, Korea, Japan, France, we are going to manufacture them here. Last week, you would have come across the news that Semiconductors has manufactured the first memory chip that is going to be used in the country for the assembly. Now, this is the very first step towards semiconductor manufacturing. Now, what does semiconductor manufacturing require? Semiconductor manufacturing requires electronics and communication engineers who have expertise or specialization in VLSI manufacturing. Now, when we talk about VLSI, there are two important components of VLSI. One is going to be the front-end manufacturing and the front-end designs, and then we have the back-end designs. These are two parts. It's easier to master the front-end design, but then it takes equally the double or triple or 4 times the effort to make yourself a back-end designer. So, this is one way we look at semiconductors. What is the other way we look at in terms of semiconductors? One world that we have is the analog world, which is also semiconductor based, and the other world is digital. And let me tell you, when we talk about analog and digital world, people generally say we are all going into digital world and we are going to be into the digital arena. We don't have to really bother about the analog. But let me tell you one thing very clearly over here as to why analog is important. analog is important because whatever we hear, whatever we perceive, whatever we feel is all analog in nature. We don't understand digital. But the computers understand digital, and that is why we have analog to digital converters and digital to analog converters, which take up the responsibility of conveying information the way we want. And the digital components are the ones which are being used, say for example, microprocessors, microcontrollers, FPGAs, DSPs, so on and so forth. All these devices are digital in nature. And hence storing digital data is relatively far more easier for us, and hence semiconductor chips are playing a significant role in our life. For example, earlier days when we would talk about a cassette which was probably say about 4 inches or 5 inches, would store an audio of about 1 hour. But today with the semiconductor devices in place, probably less than a small square millimeter of space will be able to store 1 GB of data, which can be used for more than 1 hour. We have moved towards this particular state just because of the semiconductor devices. So there is government which is trying to push towards semiconductor manufacturing. We are already becoming a hub for assembly line, and we are going to get into the analog front end, back end, digital front end and back end designs. Now with all these opportunities that we have, we will always be making a great VLSI industry in the next 10 to 15 years. And we will be leading the world in semiconductor manufacturing. So my only urge to all of you would be, if you are sincerely looking forward for a career in engineering, then it's going to be only electronics and communication engineering for the next 20, 25 or 30 years and nothing beyond that. So please do think over, make a wise decision of the stream that you want to get into, and whenever you get into your stream, the most important component is hands-on learning, which we will discuss in the next videos to come. For sure, I think the information that I have given you would keep you excited, would give you a path to make a career for yourself. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.